A new petrol tax for Aucklanders is a matter of months away. The newly sworn-in government has confirmed it will change legislation to pave the way for the Auckland Council to bring in the new levy, which the council's been wanting for years. Bridget Mills reports.
It's full steam ahead for transport in Auckland, with plans for light rail from the CBD to the airport in West Auckland, the first transport cabs off the rank for the new government. Those who live and drive in the city will pay for a portion of the $15 billion bill, with the long-debated petrol tax being implemented as soon as central government and the Auckland Council can get their ducks in a row. The Mayor, Phil Goff, is keen to chat to his former colleague, the new Transport Minister Phil Twyford, as soon as possible.
We're both on the same track. We both believe that there needs to be a fuel tax. We both believe that there needs to be a significant investment in public transport to take pressure off our roads. And the real question now is, how soon can we get this legislation in to allow the council to raise some money in that way?
The tax will be 10 cents a litre, and it will replace the current interim transport levy, which expires next year. Phil Goff says this new fuel tax raises twice as much and is a fairer way to source the money.
I'd rather have a user pay system where those that are using the roads all the time are paying a little more, rather than the flat rate interim transport levy, which meant that a pensioner was paying the same amount as Sky City, for example, as a big corporate. That clearly is not a fair system.
The money will be put towards light rail projects as well as new busways, cycle paths and roading. But if the tax is just for the region, why not drive further north or across to Hamilton for a cheaper tank of gas?
Auckland stretches from Tahana in the north to Waiuku in the south. Nobody's going to drive for 3/4 of an hour to the edge of the city in order to save just 10 cents a litre. In fact, if you go to the edge of the city, I was down in Huntly not so long ago, the price of petrol down there was much higher than the 10-cent margin that we're talking about.
Reaction to the fuel tax has been mixed. AA's Auckland spokesperson Barney Irvine wants to make sure the tax is collected and distributed effectively.
We would also like to see really strong business cases for any of the projects that are going to be funded under this proposed model. With the projects that have been put forward so far, we certainly don't have business cases, so that's something we certainly need to see.
Ken Shirley from the Road Transport Forum is completely opposed to the petrol tax, calling it utter nonsense.
I don't think they'll thought it through. I'm sure when they speak to officials will point out it's not a smart idea, it's not a clever idea, it's a very inefficient mechanism, and it will create all sorts of distortions.
Drivers on the streets of Auckland could see both sides of the story.
I think it sucks. I think it's ridiculous. Why should we have to pay more?
Every cent is precious, but I think it's very necessary in Auckland to do something.
The traffic is almost paralysing. We can't move around the city to meetings. So I'm in favour of the regional fuel tax.
And we finished with one of the shareholders from Auckland Airport's AGM today, who was asking the tough questions about one of those big new projects the petrol tax will help pay for.
I'm just wondering, passengers coming in with heavy luggage, would they still be allowed to use the light rail?
I think the answer is yes.
Mō te hōtaka o te ahiahine, ko Bridget Mills tēnei.